Hello, friends, and welcome to XboxEra Headlines. The date is March 19th, and Jesse and I are here to be taking through all the latest in gaming news. As a bonus for our Patreon members, we'll be making audio versions of these episodes available to you via Patreon for use in your preferred podcast app, including Spotify, which you can actually link to your Patreon account. So feel free to do that. To everybody else, you can watch it right here on YouTube. We love you just the same, honest. Hey, Jesse, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. I just got had a review go live literally this instant, Alone in the Dark.
Great.
Every single time. Thankfully, the next one I have, which is tomorrow, is a game. I can't say what it is, but I got one tomorrow that's actually not at 10 o'clock. Instead, it's a little after. So, Alone in the Dark,
10 o'clock.
Good. After some initial very janky-looking previews, quite happy. Played through it twice because you kind of have to get the ending because you need to see both
Multiple
sides.
characters, right?
Yeah, so it's got that Resident Evil. You can play as one or you can play as the other, and they'll each have like a slightly different version of events that kind of eventually splinters off, and they get their own like second half of the game. Very fun. Jodie Comer, her American accent's still very good. You would never think she's British. It was never like a Saga Anderson in Quantum Break thing where it's like, oh, once in a while I hear the Britishness in her voice. But and David Harbour fully committed, grunting and groaning
Wow.
and screaming, and like both of them, they were all in, and it really helped sell the game. It's good.
Excellent. So people can go watch that review right now on YouTube, but
Mhm.
wait until you finish this show.
Oh.
But definitely go watch it afterwards, and the review is live on
Oh,
XboxEra.com.
you can turn our names off because they're all cut off because of the way I have this set up. I think they were on from a different
Oh,
thing,
I
but
don't
yes,
even know why they're on.
probably from a previous. Oh, maybe you had me at Halo. I'm not sure. Oh, from the weekend when you guys had to use StreamYard. But yes, it's all on XboxEra.com, including the. We'll get into it more, but there's a day one video for today's very large Game Pass drop that got announced. So those both of those went live in the last, the exact same time we're going to do headlines because everything just has to be at once. I mean, nothing can be spread out. But
Yeah, we love that, right?
yeah, I do have one more thing, and I figured I'd save it for on air because it just showed up from FedEx. It fell.
Oh.
Microphone fell.
New toy. It's a live unboxing. Here we go.
Be really good for audio, so I'll walk audio through it. So Odyssey, who made the Maxwell headset that I use, sent over their top of the line gaming wired headset. So this won't be the best thing for audio. I apologize. Well, technically it will be the best thing for audio because these are supposed to be incredible. Oh, Jesus Christ. A lot of cables. And then the headset I'm going to use for the rest of this stream. Woo! Those are fancy. That's a nice red. These are $900. So yes, it's definitely for the audio file. These are God, I got to look up the name of them again. But these are wired. They're supposed to be pretty much the best gaming headset, and they came in a goddamn briefcase. So yeah, I saved that unboxing.
I'm jealous.
Well, that's what you get for not living in America. What else can I say?
Land of the home, brave of the free. Is that how it goes? I don't.
Home of the brave, land of the not very free. Praise our corporate overlords.
Oh, okay, cool. Have I played Alone in the Dark? Hi, chat. Lovely to see you. Britt, no, I have not played Alone in the Dark.
Yeah, I only got one copy, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know you've been working on Dragon's Dogma 2 and Alone in the Dark and all sorts of things at the moment.
You've got your own little thing you've been working on.
I spent the first 4 hours of this morning working on. I love it when I get to do videos like this, and I can't say what it is yet because I'm not allowed to. But keep an eye out on some later point this week. It's soon, and you'll understand why I'm excited to be able to do stuff like this.
I have to go get a goddamn screwdriver to change the size of these. You have to unscrew 4 screws per side, and then it goes up to this metal post. All right.
Wow. Maybe later.
Yeah.
Maybe later. Anyways, we're here.
Lots
it's
of
the news.
A lot of it.
So much news. We'll start off with our good friend Tom Henderson at Insider Gaming. Some specs have leaked out, and he originally leaked the existence, I think, of the PlayStation 5 Pro console. And the leaks are real, and it looks like it is still tentatively targeting a 2024 holiday release. So I think he leaked that it existed and gave some rough idea of what it was, but now some official spec sheets seem to have leaked from some third-party developer somewhere, somehow, and they've confirmed the content of those specs, I guess. Some interesting bullet points on the article here. Rendering 45% faster than PlayStation 5, 2 to 3 times the ray tracing performance, 33.5 teraflops. Do you remember teraflops? Do you remember having that argument and conversation?
Yeah, and these ones are complete. RDNA 3 versus 2, it's all very different math anyway, so it's actually more akin to, like, I think it was 14 to or something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. And then it's got a new buzzword. This is the new hard drive, the new SSD. We've got PlayStation SSR Spectral Super Resolution Upscaling. So this is probably going to be some form of AI-driven anti-aliasing solution, custom machine learning architecture, and AI accelerator. All of these fun words that neither you or I know a huge amount about, really. So, who are we to say? Um, do you think it's needed? A PlayStation 5 Pro console?
No, I mean, it's not like the 4 did great, but it's just these things are always the buzzwords that we get fed that, we then have to see, does it actually do anything in practice? Because, I mean,
Yeah.
everyone does it, and they want to push, and it's not for this gen, but they're also talking, we want to push 8K 60 and 4K 120, and it's like, if you want to push 4K 120 in newer games, you're like $1,000 console. You're going to be unbelievably expensive for the most part. Like there's no real way about it. You can't kind of avoid that. It's impossible.
They're just going to look to sell to current owners, the hardcore of the hardcore, because I can't imagine this retailing at 500. So why not push for 600, 700, whatever? Because but it's weird as well, because also in the news outside of this, there's also reports from Bloomberg, I think Schreier again, that the PlayStation VR 2 is that they're pausing production because they're just sitting on shop shelves everywhere, because surprise, VR is a very niche thing and not everyone wants to buy one,
especially one that is tied to it's already tied to a console and it only works on that console. So they, like, the whole point of the Quest and Steam VR and everything is it's open. It's an open platform. Pretty much any headset can work with any hardware on the PC side of things. And then the Quest has its own little store that you can play natively when you're on the go and stuff like that.
Yeah. But you can still plug the Quest into a PC and have that high fidelity,
or use it wirelessly. And that wireless experience is as good as your home network can allow. It can be perfect.
Yeah, and it has to be said, as someone who's dabbled in the very first consumer versions of the Oculus Rift back in the day, the tether and losing that tether, the cable between you and the device, is a game changer. Like Oculus Quest is great in that regard. It is its own little mini console platform that probably doesn't get as much love as it should because it's owned by Meta. But there's some really remarkable experiences on there. But I find that everyone that has a VR headset eventually will just always, especially if they're a hardcore gamer, they'll always end up reverting more or less back to normal gaming. It is, and every now and then it's a social thing. Like if you've got a party game that you can all play together, it's a bit more involved. But yeah, like I don't see, Sony making a PlayStation 5 Pro. I mean, I'm sure they've done the analysis, and from my armchair here, it's pretty comfy to think, well, why are you doing this? Like, what benefit outside of prettier games when they're already pretty enough, in my opinion, is it going to achieve? And I don't know. The big question, of course, that everyone is asking is Microsoft going to have an answer? We know from the business development update that they did earlier this year, due to some sort of reporting or something on games coming to other platforms, or I don't know what that was about. Lol. They said, I think Sarah Bond was quoted as saying, a robust hardware roadmap to discuss. So we've got more things to announce. June summer showcase. Are they going to have an answer for hardware fans for Xbox 2024? Are we going to have to wait till 2025? Like, if you think of the last time we did a mid-gen refresh with the Xbox Series, the Xbox One X, and the PlayStation 4 Pro, the Pro released a year earlier, and Microsoft followed up a year later with the One X, right? So do you think we're going to have that repeat scenario again?
Yeah, it might be a little longer of a break this time too, because the rumors for the next generation of Xbox is actually 2026. So if the PS4 Pro is end of 2024, then it might end up being 2 years. But the difference being, instead of it being an incremental upgrade, it's, a full-on console jump. So
yeah, I mean, it's got to go handheld, right? In some degree,
and handheld.
More exciting.
The lower SKU needs to be a handheld that can dock, and then the upper SKU should be more expensive and insanely powerful. Like do a $400 to $500 dockable handheld, then do a big expensive, super powerful X variant.
Monster. Yeah. Mm-hmm. because the hardcore will go get that X Monster,
Mm-hmm.
but your everyday video game enthusiast, they're going to go get that portable console. And if you can make a really good one, oh, it would be swell. I'd be very happy with this. I think it's the answer for Microsoft to really pivot and change,
Mm-hmm.
differentiate at this point. I also, frankly,
Cats, hold
really
on.
like the idea.
I'll be right back.
Oh, that's okay. I like the idea, chat, because I'm talking to you now. I like the idea of Microsoft kind of separating themselves from the traditional, oh, let's watch PlayStation and Xbox release a new generation together. I know there are benefits for that, right? So games in development releasing on the same platforms, targeting things with similar spec, it makes sense. But when you get platforms that are following different timelines, you get true differentiation and true new things, new experiments, new ideas. And that makes me more hype. I don't know. I've seen a lot of bars and talk. Everyone's a bit blue and down. I don't know why. Like, let's put it into context. We are playing more games, bigger games, better games than ever before, and they're available to more people than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
I get it if you're concerned. I get it if you're concerned about the actual box under your TV. I get that. But right now, you don't need to be. It ain't going anywhere. All right? Enjoy it. Enjoy all this avalanche of truly awesome software that has just been dropping on us from afar.
It's so hard to keep up with. It's so hard.
Speaking of which, my God, Game Pass today, the drop that they just unleashed upon us for Game Pass. What do we got? My God, let's have a look. We've got Diablo 4, which we knew was coming. All right, so we've got Diablo 4 landing on March 28th. But outside of that, we've got The Quarry, which XboxEra did a review. I think that was Harmonica. This is a kind of a choice-driven kind of 90s horror movie.
Yeah, you're a bunch of camp counselors.
Yeah. I've even got a mug for that somewhere at my partner's house. We've got Evil West, which was really good. We've got Terra Invicta, which is PC only, on March 26th. We've got Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 on March 28th. Open Roads from Annapurna on March 28th. Ark Survival Ascended, which is the remake of the remaster of the first Ark, on April 1st. And Super Hot Mind Control Delete. Super Hot is an awesome game. April the 2nd. Super Hot's better in VR, though. I got to say.
Yeah, Super Hot VR is incredible. It's still very fun as a first-person shooter, but in VR it is special.
Yeah. But there's loads there that I'm like, I'm going to see if we can do a review for Open Roads. I'm not particularly interested in Ark. We've already reviewed Hot Wheels Unleashed 2. We've reviewed Diablo 4. We've reviewed Evil West. We've reviewed The Quarry. It's nice to have all of this, and boom, we've already got a lot for people to come and catch up on.
We don't miss many game reviews. We're pretty good about it.
We are pretty good. The Quarry as well. And hey, do you know what? That might be a laugh. The Quarry is a multiplayer game.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we could do that as a little stream when it drops. Let's plan it out. March 20th. It's tomorrow. Little stream?
Maybe. We'll see.
Stream? Yeah. Or Thursday, I don't mind. I'm easy, like a Sunday morning. Leaving Game Pass on March 31st are Hot Wheels Unleashed, Infinite Guitars, and MLB The Show 23.
Yeah, which all makes sense because they're,
MLB.
Two of them have sequels hitting. MLB 24 and Hot Wheels 2. So,
yeah. It's good times. Look at all these
cats are driving me insane.
Chow down. Jesse's cats.
He has a lot of energy and he never slows down.
Yeah.
He's young. Got to play with him a bunch.
Yeah, I've only got one. Well, I've got two cats, but one's like geriatric. And
I see Nadian in the chat. Nadian.
Hey, Nadian.
My new Odysseys are in. He's an audiophile. These are their super duper deluxe gaming ones. Be doing coverage on them. It turns out you don't have to take those screws off. You just have to tighten this area right here. But I don't have an Allen key for it.
My God, your day one video looks great, by the way.
Yeah, I love the look. It's so nice. And it's people wonder how do you do it so fast? It's because it's all just a template I'm filling in. So I just have to get the video, then I have to just record audio, which is mainly just me improvising, and that's it. Ursula used to do a full script, and it would take a long time. Like, then just read the descriptions of the games. That's all I do.
Ad lib it, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun times.
Half the time I've played most of them, so it helps. But wow, we just got a $20 super chat, John. Breaking news.
What? Wow, from Face23 BKMY. Will it be a problem if Sony has a Pro model in the market and running Xbox games better on PS5 Pro like COD, and Microsoft doesn't release a Pro model, instead waiting to start next gen in 2026? I mean, we kind of touched on it. Does Microsoft need an answer? I don't know. In this bubble of people that care about frame rates and resolutions, yeah, it will be a problem. The reality? No, not really.
Yeah, I mean,
does Nintendo Switch have a problem?
Yeah, I mean, and they can always just point to PC. Like, all our games run best there by default. They still will run as great as they can on a series console, and they're still mostly just going to be on an Xbox. They're not going to mostly be on a PlayStation 5 outside of very specific choices or contracts. So, on the whole, that'd be fine.
Yeah, and this is the thing. And look, you'll find that this will be the narrative now. Right? This will be the thing. And it's, man, every year Xbox has a narrative. It's very boring. The narrative will be, and look, props to Sony. They're probably saying, okay, this will be the best place to play GTA 6 when it lands in 2025, right? That'll be the argument made. It's a good way. It's a good play. But you'll still be able to play the same games. They just might look and run a little better. Like,
And I know that he asked the same question to every podcast, JB1521, but you spend $20, you get to. I'll allow it.
Yeah.
But no, it'll be angry discussion from us, and then we'll be shocked when most people don't care because they're used to playing on their goddamn phones for the younger generation. So
yeah,
it'll be fine.
Although, there was a little thing in the news about Microsoft having a new dev kit, that's been certified in South Korea. I don't think this is anything particularly to get excited about, because under law in Korea, any electric device that is being sold as a product there must be certified by the National Radio Research Agency, in that there will be no risk of harming the radio wave environment. Without it being certified, you can't release it. And there's an XDK console that was approved for Microsoft Corporation today. Now, people started linking this back to the hardware roadmap update from leadership, stuff coming out that we're going to share this holiday. Does that mean the new digital version?
I would think so, because when people looked at it, they had one for the first Series X, the first Series S, and then they had another one for the new Series S because it's on a slightly different build. So if there's another one, it's most likely that Series X. Also, I didn't realize, but man, my friggin' HDR didn't turn on. That's why this is friggin' colors all blown out on me.
Oh, annoying. That's all right. It just looks
like
when the HDR isn't on, it just looks like a normal webcam.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
People aren't going to be like, that looks weird. It just looks like a normal webcam. You don't get the smooth lighting and the depth of field. I do love the Razer Kiyo Pro. It does seem to poo its pants on occasion, though. But yeah,
so
there is some hardware.
But very quickly went to the Going Live stream and fixed it because it's driving me crazy.
I don't think people would care.
It will take me 10 seconds. We will literally be right back.
It's driving him crazy.
Because I also have to then click into this. But hey, there, look, it looks a lot better, god damn it.
Yeah. Skills.
Thank you.
All right. Well played.
Thank you.
What else we got? Turtle Beach have continued the acquisition trend of recent years. by acquiring their rival PDP in a $118 million deal.
Yeah,
With Chris
that's a lot of
Kern
money.
being named the new company CEO. So that 118 million includes the 79.9 million in cash and the remainder in shares. Both companies compete in the third-party headset. This is from Chris String of gamesindustry.biz. They both compete in third-party headset and controller categories, yet where Turtle Beach is leading the market in headsets, PDP is best known for a range of licensed controllers.
And they've got one coming up for the friggin'...
Oh, you've got the Turtle Beach. Am I allowed to say?
Yeah, it's literally right there. I've got another one for you.
Got one.
Yeah, but so they PDP was in the news recently because they are going to be doing the guitar peripheral for the in Fortnite thing, whatever, Fortnite music festival. I forget the full name of it.
Yeah.
But they'll be doing, so they're doing that one. Thingy. So,
but yeah, it's interesting though that they've, one excelled in audio as a leader, one excelled in controllers, and now they're like, okay, let's both excel as one.
That's pretty much it. The end game of capitalism is how do we? In case you were wondering, this is a gaming headset because it's got a microphone.
Lovely.
There's got another one that doesn't have a microphone, but that's the big old audio jack that doesn't fit in my computer. But like the end game of all these companies is how do we get bought? And people get mad and they're like, consolidation sucks. And it's like, maybe, but it's also literally the entire point of why most companies exist is to eventually get bought. Like that's where they start up. That's a startup. The startup wants to make a bunch of money and either start grabbing other people or sell itself. Like that's just the way they go.
It is the way of the world.
It's just the way it is.
I was going more for Phil Collins. But yes, let's talk some good news then. Let's talk about some metrics and some milestones. Wolong Fallen Dynasty has broken 5 million players, which is lovely news to hear from the folks. 5 million. That's pretty.
Pretty and then there was another one almost directly after it. That's even more that came out.
Which was Lies of P. Broke 7 million players. Which is, again, brilliant news. Both of those games, didn't they launch on Game Pass?
They did.
Isn't that fascinating? And our favourite game of the year thus far, Balatro, has hit 1 million copies sold and is coming to iOS and Android. Which is both great news and terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying. Yeah, it's as scary as it gets because that game with touch controls is at its best. It is built for touch in a scary way. It is so good at everything.
I love that game. Yeah, it is.
I could wax lyrical about Balatro for a very long time.
I really want them to do a Game Pass PC version that syncs with my Game Pass Xbox version, because I do not want to buy the game again on Steam and have two different competing saves. Like, help me out here, devs. Just make one for Game Pass PC. Microsoft should be cutting a check to get that on Game Pass.
Even on Steam, it was having an issue with not keeping my save. I think it's finally synced up now. Because I was playing it on the Legion Go and on PC, and it wouldn't. I had 2 saves there and a save on Xbox, and yet I was still just jumping around playing it because I enjoyed it so much.
Wow. Yeah, it's a great game. I love it. I love it a lot. Too much, one might say. So there you go. There's some nice milestones to celebrate in the industry of regular bad news. Speaking of bad news, oh no, more layoffs. Something Wicked Games, and I when I first read this, I was like, "Wait, what? Moon Studios? Wait, what?" But it's not that game. No Rest for the Wicked. This is Something Wicked Games, which this is a weird one. A currently existing employee, a chap named Eric Webb, claimed that the studio has laid off most of our staff. So this is coming via GameDeveloper.com. Mass layoffs apparently taking place. Programmer Andrew Wolosian and writer Jessica Slawinski confirmed they were among those affected. So
Hmm.
there was no press release or anything like that. This was just someone saying, "Hey, yeah,
Yeah, I think it
everyone's
was
gone now."
a year or two ago they formed, and like Will Shen from Bethesda, a lot of ex-Bethesda people, but they like started up a studio, and I guess the worst time be to get funding. Like it's
Yeah,
really, really difficult to try and get funding right now.
yeah.
So that sucks.
It was founded in 2022, and you're right. It was all Bethesda leads that had worked across Elder Scrolls, Blades, Starfield, and Fallout 76. And then Will Shen joined as lead content designer over a month after Starfield was released, and now,
Hmm.
yeah, they were working on an RPG called Weird Song. Does that mean that project's dead?
Yeah.
No one knows.
Yep. Yeah, and that
Um,
was when they had the trailer at the Game Awards, like to sort of probably start trying to get more funding and whatnot. Man, it just sucks.
yeah, it's depressing. There's a comment in here from the writer of this on GameDeveloper.com, Justin Carter. Layoffs are damaging for all studios, but it's particularly hard on newer developers because many studios close down before they can even get. They either close down or the person gets fired before they can actually get their debut title out the door, or even get in the credits of the game. How many stories have we seen where developers have worked for 2 years and then their contract runs out and then they're not even in the credits?
Yeah,
It's
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Man, it's very, very sad and depressing, a bit rubbish. There you go. This industry continues. What else have we got? GOG and Amazon Luna are apparently teaming up for their cloud streaming service. And GOG announcing on their blog post that soon you'll be able to play your favorite games from the GOG store, like the Witcher series or Cyberpunk 2077, on multiple devices of choice. We're teaming up with Amazon Cloud Gaming Service to give you even more ways of enjoying them while keeping our mission of DRM-free gaming. So everything that is on Luna, you'll be able to play every game you already own on GOG,
Mhm.
and that is also available on Luna. So it has to be available on both, but if you own it on GOG, you can play it.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy anything twice, and everything that you this is right. It works both ways. You'll be able to buy games that are available on GOG via Luna, and they will go straight into your GOG library. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's nice.
I
It's
forget that Amazon Luna is a thing sometimes.
yeah,
in
I
this-
don't think they've cut a lot of their budget. It feels like they had layoffs, and like everyone's having layoffs, but it is nice to see them at least do something that probably is not the easiest thing to license. So it probably took some work to get done, but more options always good. Kind of like the exact opposite of what the CMA did with Diablo, as we got confirmation today. It's not in Game Cloud.
Yeah.
So not in
No
Game Pass
cloud.
Cloud. No cloud gaming for ABK games, for Xbox gamers, or anyone,
Thanks,
because
CMA.
the CMA just had to protect us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your protection. Man, it blows my mind. You think back to the whole case. If how long were they planning Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves and Pentiment and Grounded? Because it was only summer last year, and from my recollection, games take a while to make, right? And I know
Mhm.
all these are all made, but even then, they take a while to port. They're not like instant.
Yeah.
You don't flip a switch. Did they know? And they couldn't have not have used this argument in court to be like, yeah, we're actually planning on releasing loads of our exclusive games on. Like, did they just want to? I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. Speaking of, Hi-Fi Rush has released now on PlayStation 5 from
And it's released to rave reviews from people who said
Yeah.
that they didn't like it when it was new.
I saw this on Twitter, and look, like,
Not gonna
don't
name names or
attack
anything. Leave them
people.
alone.
Don't attack
Yeah.
people.
We can laugh though.
But I did see this on Twitter, and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of Twitter Xbox fans were perhaps using this again as further evidence of the Xbox tax in effect. With I think one quote being, "I uninstalled and refunded the game on Steam because I didn't like the soundtrack at all. It's not for me." To now the game being released on PS5, and oh my god, I'm gonna relax and get a platinum on this. It's great, and even the review score, it's like an 87 on on Xbox and a 91 on PlayStation 5. Those DualSense triggers make all the difference.
87 on Xbox, 90 on PC, and 91 on PS5. You know how it goes.
I do know how it goes, but no one's allowed to talk about it. And if you do, you're a conspiracy theorist, tinfoil hat wearing troglodyte, apparently.
I mean, we are those things for other reasons, but not for this, damn it.
True story. But like just the refusal to even admit that, of course, as humans, we have preferences, and those preferences are natural and will come through. Like,
yeah, it's impossible. Like,
man.
When we do reviews, I do look at it as I'm going to review it and say how I feel about it, but I'm going to also try to get across just what the game is. But then the review itself, like, what is this game? What is this game not? How do I feel about it? And not bring all my own baggage of what I might have wanted or what I always prefer. It's just, how does this work in context? And a lot of people don't do it that way, but everyone thinks they do. Like, everyone's like, well, this website didn't like it, so obviously everyone at that website didn't like it. And it's like, well, no, one person at that website might not have enjoyed it, because sometimes it's bad. Sometimes it's not their genre. Sometimes they're in a bad mood. Like, they're just people. And
yeah,
the review scores and the way people treat review scores, and how even within the industry, how important they are. And I get it from a marketing perspective as far as trying to sell your game. People really pay a lot of attention to review scores, and they shouldn't, because review scores are one person's subjective opinion, and there's no such thing as an objective review. That would just be a stat sheet. You would literally just have a bunch of facts about the game, no score at the end, because there's no scientific method to figure that out. Like, it's silly.
And I like that different people have different approaches to reviews. Like, you're quite analytical in the way you review, like, in terms of, like, this is what it is, this is how I feel about these things. But like, I have a tendency to be more prosaic and warble on about, like, how stuff makes me feel and memories it invokes and all that sort of jazz. But I think there's room in the world for both, and that's the crux of video game discourse. Is you just got to find someone that gels with how you seem to think majoritively. And if you find someone that kind of seems to speak on your wavelength a lot of the time, go listen to their opinion and see what they think. That's it. And if you disagree, cool, go find a different person and see if they have a different opinion. It's nuts.
People get and I tweeted about it last night, because it's just like, so little of video game discourse is ever about a game, like actually playing a game and talking about that game. It is almost always entirely focused on some form of A versus B, some form of list to win or lose. Like, it's always, because that's everything. Like, that's sports, that's religion, politics, that's fandom in general. Doesn't matter where you're a fan, it's always comparative for people. And it gets really, really frustrating when you write over 3,000 words about why you enjoyed playing Redfall, and you just know no one's going to read it. They're just going to go to the score at the end, and then they're going to try and dunk on you to make other people like them. Like, that's it. That's just what discourse is going to be. It's, how can I shit on you, not pay attention to anything you actually said, and then make these other people I don't know like me, because I'm very sad inside.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that. I don't know, man. I like hearing different opinions on things. Like, I don't want to always hear someone that agrees with me. Otherwise, I'd be really bored. Like, everything's great. Okay. Like, it's like, exactly the thing I kind of don't want.
People get mad. Like, I didn't like Outcast: A New Beginning. I didn't find it enjoyable at all. And there's people in the comments, I'm like, you mostly fly off the ground 4 feet. And the guy's like, no, you fly all over the place. Like, yeah, you can, once you unlock the jetpack. But once you unlock the boost for when you're air gliding, because you get like the friggin' squirrel suit, flying squirrel type thing, and you can air glide and then you can boost and you can do a lot of that. It's just there's no reason to. You're mostly just going to be on the ground, flying 4 feet off of it, and then you go to a cutscene and this guy's zipping around everywhere, having fun. Like, why not just let me zip around everywhere? Why put all these restrictions on it early on and make me grind for 15 hours to unlock half of the movement abilities when the only good thing about the game is the movement? But also, I've played it and you haven't. So you're telling me I'm wrong, but I played the whole game. I try to beat everything I can that we reasonably have the time to. And people will still treat it like, well, yeah, but I saw a preview and this guy said that. I was like, that's great. Who cares? I don't care.
You don't have to compare everything. Like, it just doesn't have to live that way. Super chat from Tiberius Monk. Just here to show some love to my favorite Xbox-centric podcast. I love the different review styles from the host of XboxEra. Keep up the great work.
So you got me analytical and a lot, you more poetic, and Nick.
Yeah, I do get analytical sometimes.
Don't.
Nick needs to work on his narration.
Mm-hmm. It's a hard skill. If you go back to some, because he doesn't get to do that many. So if you go back to my early ones, it's the same thing where I'm like, my mouth's all dry, and I would be in a little room. I would be in my closet, like, so we have a hallway with closets, and I would open all the doors and I would put up blankets for sound dampening because my mic was so bad. Nice. It was the only way to not have echoes, but it was really hot. And then I was tired and my mouth was dry. And now it's just, how can I read this on the fly thing that I wrote, but make it sound like I'm talking as much as possible and not reading? And it's really hard.
It's funny, when I do voice recordings for reviews, I animate a lot. Like I
and that
like
moves you away from the mic. And I do that where I'll start but then I have to go. I listen to it and I have to go back and redo it because I moved away from the mic and it sounds like shit. I'm like, God damn it!
Man, it's fun to do though. It is fun to do. The one I did recently that isn't out yet, and it's not really a review either. But
previews are mini reviews.
The kind of. It was weird for me because I also included a lot of quotes in it, but I didn't have audio of those people, so I had to come up with ways of narrating the quote.
When I think about the thing that I'm talking about,
I genuinely did consider doing voices because I thought that would be really fun. but I neglected to in the end. But have a listen. Let me know what you think when we're off air. Like, I feel like I could add quotes like on the screen, like while I'm narrating them. But
I was thinking of doing that with So I'm going to have a review for the finale of Halo Season 2. That won't go up until it's aired. There's no early embargo or anything for a finale. But so expect 3 a.m. Thursday. I'm going to put up a bunch of stuff for it, which I got to start working on now. That Dragon's Dogma's done. So I've got, and I was thinking, like, if there's a cool scene, do I cut and have their audio play in the video? Because they just demonetize us all the time anyways, so why not lean into that? Or do I just start doing voices over the video and have some fun with it? Like, Chief says, I'm going to give you back your bomb. And then I'd lip sync over him saying it in the show. But yeah. Also, I won't have the video. I'd have to wait until it's aired and I can record the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it'd be fun.
What else? Final Fantasy 14. I want to talk about Final Fantasy 14 on Xbox. It's
people are realizing what a mess it is. Yeah.
Yeah. For service fees and optional items. So it comes out day after tomorrow after it's open beta. You need to have Game Pass to play the game in full. But you'll also need Final Fantasy 14 coins to make new purchases. And it's a currency that is not in use on PC or PlayStation.
They've always had massive technical issues with keeping things in sync. Their account system is a mess. Like if you had an account already, you can't play this open beta. And if you play this open beta, you then can't put your account onto Xbox for the full launch. Like Final Fantasy 14 has always had these weird, odd things that seem to follow especially Japanese pubs around. Like Phantasy Star Online has a lot of weird stuff like this too. Also, if you use the Game Pass Ultimate perk for the free month starter edition, you can never go back to the free trial. The free trial is pretty limited. You can't be in a guild. You can only get to certain levels. You can only get to certain content, but it's a lot. You can spend like 125 hours in it. But people will see, ooh, starter edition for free. But the moment that ends, you then have to pay to play the game ever again because it still has a monthly fee. So
it's not for me.
Yeah.
That is not for me.
No, it's essentially it's social media in video game form. It's like I've got a group of friends I want to go play with, or I just really like this series, and it's just the thing I play. I don't play much else. Like that's what you have to be with an MMO.
Yeah, definitely not for me. Pass. Xbox development studio, now PlayStation first party development studio with the approval stamp for live as service games. Bungie. There's a Marathon, which is one of their original IPs, and obviously they're remaking Marathon as a extraction shooter, I think, of some sort that's releasing everywhere, so not just PlayStation.
For now,
there's a fan revival that is actually coming to Steam with Bungie's blessing. You know, it's going to be a classic, authentic experience, but there's some bells and whistles, optional widescreen HUD support, 60 FPS, all of those fun things. But Bungie's actually said, yeah, you can do that. It's real, it's coming out, and it will be free. Which is really, really nice.
Is the only way it ever happens.
Yeah,
as we saw with Yuzu and others, the moment you try and get money off of someone else's IP, by law in America, they have to go after you. But if there's no money involved, it can be okay. Not always, but it can be.
It can work out. And then speaking of Steam, Steam Families has been announced, and it's available now in the Steam beta client. So what is this? It's a collection of new and existing family related features. So it replaces Steam Family Sharing and Steam Family View. It gives you one location. You can manage all your games, what your family can play, what they can access, etc., etc. So you can share a library, basically, which is pretty sweet, right?
Because it used to be you could share the library, but only one person could access anything in the library at one time. The difference here is now you can access anything in the library. You get one key per game owned. So you own Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. I own Portal. You can play Portal whenever you want. But if I want to play it, you would need to also own it. Like you get one key per game instead of it being one key per library. So that was my son and I wanted to game share. But if I was playing something in Steam, he couldn't play a single thing I owned because the entire library is tied to one access key. And so it's really nice now that it's every game in the library gets one access key. And say you can have up to 6 people. You own 3 copies of Portal 2 across your family. 3 people can all play it at once if they don't own it. So it's a much better system. Nice. Yeah.
There's also a bevy of parental controls, child purchase requests, all that sort of jazz available there. And the blog is up on Steam, which I will put in the chat because I'm nice like that.
Oh,
I can find
so kind.
Window. You can go read it there. I think that's pretty much it for news at present.
There's quite a bit.
There's quite a bit to chomp through. I mean, I like that we're keeping these shows at around 50 minutes to an hour long. That feels nice. That feels efficient and yet entertaining enough to stop by and watch, and we appreciate you, chat, for coming to hang out with us with all the news. It's good times.
Lots of content this week that we can't talk about most of, but I can say Alone in the Dark review out now if you want to go watch it. Good game. I enjoyed it quite a bit, a lot better than the early preview shown. So Alone in the Dark review today, another review tomorrow, Halo review Thursday, potentially a preview some point this week. So lots of stuff.
Yep. And we'll be back on Thursday to go through another episode of Headlines. For folks that are listening to the audio versions for our patrons, YouTube has had the last 2 weeks running, or the last 2 episodes running, I should say, a bit of an issue finishing the file so that I can grab it as an MP3.
I'm going to start
upload
recording again on Thursday, so I can just give you an MP3 right away.
I'm down with that.
Because YouTube, even the Game Pass show today, or the Game Pass Day 1 video today, took like 15 minutes to process, and it's not long. I'm like, geez.
Yeah.
They were very quick for a while, but I almost feel like we dropped in their priority because we're not getting many views. It's the dead time of year for gaming. Like our channel traffic's very, very low compared to what it had been for like the last year. So I think we might have hit their lower priority queue for
it's a shame.
Processing videos.
We need to change that. We have firmly crossed the 25k subscriber barrier now. So a big thank you to everybody watching and all of our YouTube subscribers.
Watch it drop down below again.
Yeah. Quick
every time
unsubscribe from these fuckers, But Cheeseworks, we did get both super chats. Don't worry. We're on the ball. We're on the ball, my friend. Man, can you imagine a world where we're at 50 or 75 or 100?
Mm-hmm. And then still we'd have to just do more and more guide work to get all the clicks we need. I have some light guide stuff around, very light guide stuff around Dragon's Dogma on launch day, and try and get some stuff around Halo. If you notice new, very fancy looking ads on any Halo the series content we do, full disclosure, we signed up for their affiliate program. So if you ever click into that link and then sign up for Paramount Plus to watch the show, we get a little bit of money, which helps me and John survive. So thanks.
It's true. It's true. At the moment, it's brown bread and water. That's it. That's what I get. While I'm here, and because we're live, why not? For folks asking about recent, and this is more for our Patreon members than anything else. So 2 things. One, we know in our heart of hearts that the second print run of the Kickstarter for the XboxEra, celebrating 20 years of Xbox Book, it ain't going to land. All right. Anyone that's backed it, I'm sorry. Like we'd hoped that it would get enough love to get a reprint done, but nowhere near, sadly. It is what it is. It's the cost of living crisis, the reality of putting in a very real packaging and delivery cost fee. People suddenly don't like that. But for those of you that have ordered the leftover stock that we have from the first run, a bunch of them went out day before yesterday, a bunch of them went out today, a bunch of them will go out tomorrow. I'm doing them in batches because I get a guy come and pick them up from the international courier service here at the house. It's really annoying having to send stuff internationally yourself. Like before, I used a fulfillment company, which is how I ended up 15 grand in debt. But this time I have to print off 4 customs forms for each package, sign them and do all these things, and then I have to box it all, I have to tape it all together. And you can see down there behind me the next batch ready to go out, all boxed up, ready to go. There are still some stock left, and I think maybe next month, beginning of April, we'll open up the store to the public so that anyone can just come along and buy a copy. But I think all of the collector's editions of the book, the really, really fancy one, have sold out. They are gone. So you'll be dealing with a standard physical or an overshield copy if you do want one. But keep an eye out. But Patreon members, don't sweat. They are coming, and you will get an email with tracking info and all of that jazz. But I do know that everyone who is from the UK that ordered one has it by now, because it said it would be delivered before 1 p.m. today. So there you go. Yeah, love you guys. We'll be back on Thursday for more, and on Saturday for the usual podcast time with all 3 of us. A triumphant return.
Back to OBS.
Back to OBS, thank God. Until then, be good, play games, chill out, and I might, if I can get the final animations that I'm waiting for from the wonderful pre-drag, I might stream a bit of Helldivers tonight because it's really good fun. I'm quite addicted to it. But other than that, we'll see you next time.
Ciao for now.